Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. Today we're going to recap yesterday's MLB and NHL games, look at tonight's games in each sport, and then we'll look at tonight's NBA play-in tournament, and we'll do some power rankings. We'll recap American Idol from the last 2 days, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with baseball. We'll go over the games from yesterday and look ahead to tonight's games. Guardians over the Royals 10-7. Guardians are 2-2. KC 2-2. Orioles over the Brewers 2-0. Orioles 1-3. Milwaukee 1-3. Rockies over the Rangers 6-4-10. Rocks 3-1. Texas 1-3. Tigers over the Red Sox 3-1. The Tigers 2-2. The Red Sox 1-3. A's over the Rays 13-2. Oakland 2-2. Rays 3-1. Phillies over the Mets 5-4. Phils 3-1. Mets 3-2. Blue Jays over the Yanks 3-0. Blue Jays 3-1. Yanks 2-2. Nationals over the Braves 11-2. Nats 2-3. Braves 2-3. Twins over the Mariners 4-0. Twins 2-2. Seattle 2-2. Angels over the Marlins 6-2. Angels 2-3. Marlins 1-3. And the Padres over the Giants 4-2. The Padres 4-1. The Giants 2-2. Pirates Cardinals postponed. Makeup date June 14th. All right, now we look ahead to today's games. 1 o'clock you have the Red Sox and the Tigers. Rich Hill and Tyler Alexander. Boston is minus 124. Detroit's plus 106. Over under 9. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Red Sox minus 1/2 is plus 120. Tigers plus 1/2 is minus 144. I'm going to go with the over. 4 o'clock you have the Guardians and the Reds. Shane Bieber and Tyler Mahle. Guardians minus 104. The Guardians are minus 112. Reds are minus 104. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Guardians minus 1/2 is plus 155. Reds plus 1/2 is minus 188. I'm going to go with Bieber and the Guardians on the road. Mariners, White Sox. Matt Brash and Vince Velasquez. White Sox minus 132. Mariners plus 112. Over under 9. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Seattle plus 1/2 is minus 184. Chicago minus 1/2 is plus 152. I'm going with the Mariners again. Vince Velasquez has been one of the bigger pitching busts over the past decade. And meanwhile, Matt Brash is somebody that could have a little bit of a breakout for the Mariners. So I'm taking the Mariners plus 112. Cubs, Pirates. Pirates home opener. Drew Smyly and Zach Thompson. Or it might be Jose Quintana. We'll see who ends up starting. Cubs minus 120. Pittsburgh's plus 102. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Cubs minus 1/2 is plus 140. Pirates plus 1/2 is minus 170. I'm going to take the first half tie at 5-1. 6:30 Athletics Rays. Adam Oller and Tommy Romero. Rays minus 210. A's plus 176. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. A's plus 1/2 is minus 120. Rays minus 1/2 is even money. I'm going to go with the Rays run line minus 1/2 at even money for bounce back purposes. Bounce back spot for Tampa. 6:45 on MLB Network. Mets Phillies. Tyler McGill and Zach Wheeler. Phils minus 162. Mets plus 136. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Mets plus 1/2 is minus 154. Phils minus 1/2 is plus 128. Zach Wheeler pitching against his former team. I like the under 8.5 at minus 104. 7 o'clock you have the Brewers and the Orioles. Eric Lauer, we don't know who's going for Baltimore. And that game isn't even posted on FanDuel. Let's see if it's posted on DraftKings real quick. But if I had to think about like a potential side with this one. Oh. They have Milwaukee minus 165, Baltimore plus 145, over under 9, minus 110 each way. Brewers minus 1.5, minus 115, Orioles plus 1.5 is minus 105. I like the over. Blue Jays, Yankees. Yusei Kikuchi and Nestor Cortez. Yanks minus 132, Toronto plus 112, over under 10, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Jays plus 1.5 is minus 194, Yankees minus 1.5 is plus 160. I'm going to go with the over, but I don't feel super about it because I think Yusei Kikuchi's going to stink. I think it was one of the worst free agent signings of the offseason. There's a possibility Nestor Cortez regresses too, so I like the over in this spot. Yankees bounce back win, though. Mariners, Angels. Jesus Luzardo and Patrick Sandoval. Angels minus 162, Marlins plus 136, over under 9, minus 110 each way. Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 162, Angels minus 1.5 is plus 134. I like the over. Sandoval's like a hit or miss. Luzardo, big year for him. Make or break type of year. So I'm going to go with the over. 720 Nationals, Braves. Patrick Corbin and Uno is going for Atlanta. Braves are minus 155. Nats are plus 135. Over under 9.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Nats plus 1.5 is minus 145. Braves minus 1.5 is plus 125. I like the over. Patrick Corbin pitched well in his last start, but actually no, take the back, the under. I could see this being like 5-4. If it was 8.5, maybe I would have gone over. 7:30 Dodgers, Twins. Good series. Andrew Heaney, Chris Archer. Dodgers minus 142, Twins plus 120, over under 9.5. Overs minus 106, unders minus 114. Dodgers minus 1.5 is plus 122. Twins plus 1.5 is minus 146. I'm going to go with the over. Neither of these pitchers are any good. 7:45 Royals, Cardinals. Daniel Lynch and Dakota Hudson. Cardinals minus 184, Royals plus 154, over under 9, overs even money, unders minus 122. Royals plus 1.5 is minus 137, Cardinals minus 1.5 is plus 114. I like the over. Daniel Lynch a little bit unproven. Dakota Hudson I like too, but this is more, I could see this being like a 9-3 Cardinals or something like that. 8 o'clock, Rockies, Rangers. Chad Cole and Martin Perez. Rangers minus 156, Rockies plus 132, over under 10, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Rocks plus 1.5 is minus 152. Texas minus 1.5 is plus 126. I'm going to go with the over. This is going to be a ridiculously high scoring game. 9:30 Astros, D-backs. Luis Garcia and Madison Bumgarner. Astros minus 158, D-backs plus 134, over under 9.5, overs even money, unders minus 122. Astros minus 1.5 is plus 105, D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 126. I'm going to go here with the over. I think that the Astros can do it by themselves. And 9:45, the Padres and the Giants. Yu Darvish and Alex Cobb. Pods minus 110, Giants minus 106, over under 7.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Pods minus 1.5 is plus 146, Giants plus 1.5 is minus 178. Who wound up pitching for San Francisco last night if Cobb's going tonight? Alex Wood. Oh, that makes more sense. I'm going to go with the Pods minus 110. They should be larger favorites than this. Alex Cobb's not good. Darvish, big chip on his shoulder. I think this is a good spot for Darvish. Give me the Padres at -110 here against the Giants. All right, now I'll move on to hockey. We'll recap last night's game and look ahead to a busier window for tonight, as we only have like 2.5 weeks left of the season. The Jets defeat the Canadiens by a score of 4-2. Winnipeg goes to 35, 28, and 11. Montreal 20, 42, and 11, as Winnipeg gets within 5 of the wild card and leapfrogs the Canucks. All right, tonight's games. Much larger slate. 7 o'clock. Blues Bruins from TD Garden. Bruins -154, Blues +128, over under 6, overs -114, unders -106. Blues +1/2 is -100, Bruins -1/2 is +164. I'm going to go with the under because I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Defense. This could be like a 4-2 game or even 3-2, my bad. 4-2 would be a push. Sabres Maple Leafs. Toronto -480, Buffalo +360, over under 7, overs -110, unders -112. Buffalo +2.5 is -115. Toronto -2.5 is -104. I'm going to go with the under here only because I think that the Sabres won't be able to score with Toronto. Ducks Panthers. Panthers -490, Ducks +365, over under 6.5, overs -132, unders +108. Ducks +2.5 is -125. Florida -2.5 is +104. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with the under because of the lack of scoring on the Ducks. Biggest game of the night, Hurricanes Rangers from the Garden. Canes -134, Rangers +112, over under 5.5, overs -115, unders -105. Carolina -1.5 is +195. Rangers +1.5 is -240. Rangers should not be home underdogs. Unless if Alexander Georgiev's in net, which I don't think he is. I think that Vegas thinks the Rangers are not good, which is a bad narrative. They've kind of ride the ship a little bit to get within 2 and even tie Carolina at one point in the division. I think they tie Carolina again tonight. So give me the Rangers at home +112. They're so good as a home underdog. And I think they'll do it again. I love the Rangers tonight. Love them. Flyers Capitals. Caps -260. Flyers +210. Over under 6.5. Overs +102. Unders -124. Flyers +1.5 is -113. Caps -1.5 is -108. Over at plus money. Love it. 7:30. Sens Red Wings. Red Wings -128, Sens +106, over under 6.5, -110 each way. Sens +1.5 is -250. Detroit -1.5 +202. I like the over. Penguins Islanders from Long Island. I think that this is going to be actually an interesting game. Pens -122, Isles +102, over under 5.5, -110 each way. Pittsburgh -1.5 is +202. Isles +1.5 is -250. Pittsburgh needs the game. They need it. Obviously, playoff rematch from a year ago. Islanders beat them in 6. I like the over, though, in terms of a pick. I think that Pittsburgh knows they need the game. Washington's behind their backs. And they are only 4 ahead of Washington, and the Rangers have pulled away from them even for second in home ice in the first round. But the Pens need the game just to help find their way towards clinching a playoff spot. 8 o'clock, Oilers Wild. Wild -146, Edmonton +122, over under 6.5, overs -140, unders +114. Edmonton +1.5 is -200, Wild -1.5 is +164. I like the Oilers. Best player on the ice will be Connor McDavid. They're playing really well right now, so give me the Oilers. Sharks Preds Preds minus 205. Sharks plus 168. Over under 6. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Sharks plus 1/2 is minus 152. Nashville minus 1/2 is plus 126. Nashville needs the game. They're only 1 point out of Dallas for the first wild card. There's a world they can fall out. And there's also a world where LA can fall out, but that's the other division. So, Nashville's got to win this game. And in terms of a pick, I'm going to go with the over 6 minus 105 because I think that Nashville's going to score a lot on San Jose. 8:30, Kings Blackhawks. Kings minus 150, Blackhawks plus 125, over under 6, overs minus 105, unders minus 114. Kings minus 1/2 is plus 172, Blackhawks plus 1/2 is minus 210. Kings need the game. Third place isn't a guarantee for them. Even the Canucks are 6 back with 9 and 8 to play. So they gotta win this game, LA. I think they will. And I'm going to go with them actually in regulation, but I don't feel good about it, plus 110. 9 o'clock, Kraken Flames. Flames minus 140, Kraken plus 330, over under 6, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Flames minus 2.5 is plus 116. Kraken plus 2.5 is minus 140. I like the over. Only because I think the Flames could go over by themselves. 9:30 on ESPN, Lightning Stars. That's a big game for ESPN. Lightning minus 146, Stars plus 122, over under 6, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Lightning minus 1/2 is plus 164, Dallas plus 1/2 is minus 200. Both teams need the game. The Stars need it more because they're holding on to that last playoff spot, and Vegas is behind their neck. And even they can leapfrog Nashville in the right scenario. But they need the game bad. Tampa needs the game to dodge the wild card. And if they get the wild card, the first wild card, they'll play either the Rangers or Carolina in round 1. And low-key, if I'm the Rangers, you want to avoid the wild card. You'd rather play Pittsburgh. And same if you're Carolina. Is that why Carolina's trying to tank? Like, I have a conspiracy theory that the Metro winner doesn't want the wild cards because they want to avoid potentially playing the Lightning. But the Lightning aren't guaranteed that wild card spot. The Lightning need the game. And the Lightning are the best big game team in the league. But for the game, I'm going to go with the over. I parlayed Lightning in the over. And a monster game from Vancouver as the Canucks host the Golden Knights for the second time in the last 9 days. And this is the third time these two teams have met in the last 9 days, with the other time being in Vegas, where Vancouver actually absolutely smoked them. Vegas is minus 146, Vancouver's plus 122, over under 10, minus 110 each way. Vegas minus 1/2 is plus 172. Vancouver plus 1/2 is minus 215. I like the over only because Robin Leonard really hasn't played all that great. I like Thatcher Demko. He's had a good year for Vancouver. But I'm going to go over for the game. I think this is a 4-3 game. And last but not least, the Devils and the Coyotes, the worst game on the slate. Devils minus 150, Coyotes plus 125, over under 6.5, overs even money, unders minus 122. Devils minus 1/2 is plus 168, Coyotes plus 1/2 is minus 205. I'm going to go with the over because the Devils can actually put up some goals against the right opponent. All right, now move on to the NBA. That was a fun NHL segment because there's so many big games tonight, with the exception of that Devils-Coyotes game. And even some other games that you wouldn't think are that big or big. So, NBA, the play-in tournament begins tonight. Tonight's games are on TNT. First up, 7 o'clock, the Cavaliers against the Nets. I project Brooklyn by 6.5, total 233.5. This is accounting for the injury of Jared Allen. If Allen was there, I only would have had Nets by 3, but Allen's not there, so I have 6.5. And it is 9.5 and 227. I like the over, even though Jared Allen's not there. One side has Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, who are going to put up a monster boatload of points, and the other side does not. So I like the over. I also like Cleveland getting the points. I do a same game with that. And then the second of two games, 9:30 on TNT, the Clippers and the Timberwolves, the biggest Timberwolves game in years. I project them as a 5-point favorite, total 233.5. I probably gotta account for some guys coming back. But they were still losing weird games with Paul George back and with Norm Powell back. So I might just do a 1.5 point adjustment here with Paul George and Norman Powell. And this will be 3.5. And it's 3 and 230.5. Now I actually have an edge on Minnesota. I would have had an edge on Minnesota if I didn't make that adjustment. But I still like the over. I think that Minnesota could just flat out score on anybody. And I think the Clippers can match them. So I'm going to go with the over in that one as well. All right. Now I'm going to do NBA power rankings as the regular season comes to a close. And the postseason games will begin tonight technically, but I really don't count tonight as the real playoffs. The real playoffs will begin on Saturday. This is just a play-in tournament to get into the postseason. So these two games are the 7-8 games that I'm playing tonight. So the NBA power rankings, the theme is similar to Major League Baseball from yesterday with I won't be shocked if it's insert names last season with the team. And I also did each team's season is a blank if they go to, and then the teams that are left success if they go to blank round, or they have to go to this place for their season to be a success. All right. So the power rankings. Number 30, I have the Orlando Magic. Their season's a failure. They're just bad like they are every year, pretty much. And I won't be shocked if it's Markelle Fultz's last season with the team. I like Markelle Fultz a lot. He's been hurt all the time. It just wouldn't be stunning if he's not on the Magic next year. Number 29, the Detroit Pistons. Their season is a failure. They have a well-respected coach, and they are a team that I think is trying to improve. I won't be shocked if it's Jeremy Grant's last season with the team. Number 28, the Trailblazers. Their season is a failure because they had expectations before the season to be really good. And I won't be shocked if it's Damian Lillard's last season with the Blazers. I mean, a lot of people won't be shocked. And by the way, Portland 27-55, Pistons 23-59, Magic 22-60. The reason why Portland's the third worst is because of how they finished the year. Number 27, the Houston Rockets. Their season's a failure. I think they thought they were going to be better than this. And I won't be shocked if it's Christian Wood's last season with the team. He's made trade rumors this summer, I think. Number 26, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I consider their season a failure too. because I think that they wanted to be a little bit better and try to get over 30 wins. And I won't be shocked if it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's last year with the team. They've been throwing this guy in the trade rumors a ton. Maybe they won't because they have a little bit of a foundation with him and Josh Giddey. But maybe they like Josh Giddey more. You never know. Number 25, the Indiana Pacers. They went 25-57 on the year. Meanwhile, Rockets 20-62. They actually had the worst record. But actually were playing better down the stretch. And then the Thunder 24-58. Pacers season failure. They hired Rick Carlisle and they got worse. And then they traded players. And I won't be shocked if it's Malcolm Brogdon's last season with the team. Maybe they go full-blown rebuild and try to build around Tyrese Halliburton. Number 24, the Sacramento Kings. 30-52 on the year. I said their season's a failure. I think that the Kings wanted to be a playoff team this year, or at least make the play-in tournament. And I won't be shocked if it's De'Aaron Fox's last season with the team. They tried to trade him at the deadline. Although he started to play better, he upped his trade value, so maybe they try to trade him now. Number 23, the Los Angeles Lakers, 33-49 the season. Their season was the biggest failure ever, as I write down in my notes. And I won't be shocked if it's Anthony Davis' last season with the team. I think they got to blow it up and rebuild. I really do. Frank Vogel fired. Not surprised. Sad for Frank Vogel. He's not a bad coach. I just think that somebody had to be the fall guy. And I would not be completely stunned if Rob Pelinka's eventually fired too, because he made the trade for Davis. Bad trade, even though they won the title. He made the trade for Russell Westbrook. Atrocious trade. And atrocious might be an understatement. Because Kyle Kuzma had a breakout year this year with the Wizards. And even other guys they trade away, like Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram, are having impacts on playoff teams around the league. So this is among, I think, one of the biggest failures in NBA history. Because you have the best player of the century and LeBron James on your team. And you traded for two guys that are always hurt. And the other is just not a great player anymore, in Russell Westbrook. Number 22, the Washington Wizards. They went 35-47 on the year. Their season's a failure because the Wizards, I think, wanted to make the playoffs this year. And I won't be shocked if it's Bradley Beal's last season with the team. I think that he's a candidate to be on the Lakers next year. Like, if they do, gather assets for Davis and they flip him to Washington for Beal type of thing. Number 21, the New York Knicks. Their season's a failure. The second most disappointing team in the NBA this year, unless if Brooklyn falls short in the play-in tournament. They had expectations this year to at least be a playoff team again, but they didn't even come close to the playoffs. If they were in the West, they would have been in the play-in tournament, but they're not in the West, they're in the East. Big reason why their season was such a failure is because of the regression of Julius Randle, who I would not be shocked if this is his last season in New York. I think the Knicks are going to try to trade him in the offseason, and they'll just never say that publicly. Number 20, the San Antonio Spurs. 34-48 in the year. That's a terrible record to be in the play-in tournament. And I think that their season would be considered a success as if they win a play-in game, if they beat New Orleans. And maybe you could talk me into being competitive against the Minnesota Clippers loser if they make it past New Orleans. And I won't be shocked if it's Greg Popovich's last season with the team. I think that he's been planning retirement for a while now. I think he's done a great job the last few years post Kawhi Leonard. And he's the best coach in NBA history, if you ask me. He's the best. But I won't be shocked if he hangs it up after a year. Number 19, the New Orleans Pelicans. 36-46 on the season. Their season would be considered a success if they win the play-in tournament for me. Which maybe, you never know. And I won't be shocked if it's Zion Williamson's last season with the team. Yes, he didn't play a game this year, but maybe I should say I won't be shocked if he's played his final game as a New Orleans Pelican. Because maybe they think they're better without him. And he's always hurt. One of the bigger disappointments over the past 5 years for me in terms of player and hype, but he's always hurt. Number 18, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Going to be in the playing game tonight, 44-38 on the year. Their season's already a success for me. Just finishing over at 500, making the play-in tournament is a success for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I won't be shocked if Colin Sexton has played his last game as a Cav. Obviously, towards ACL. This is Darius Garland's backcourt. I don't know if him and Sexton would have really worked out together. Number 17, the Charlotte Hornets, 43-39 on the year. I think they got to win the play-in tournament for me. For their season to be a success. They were in the play-in tournament last year. And they have LaMelo Ball on their team. They should be in the top 8, you would think, in theory. They have a good coach. And I would not be shocking if it's P.J. Washington's final season with the team. You're hearing them in the Westbrook rumors. I think that P.J. Washington would be the prize, quote-unquote, back to the Lakers. And I put quote-unquote because I think the Lakers want better than that. But guess what? They're not going to get better than that because Russell Westbrook's not good anymore. From a helping a team win standpoint of being a top 2 guy or even a top 3 guy at a contender. Number 16, the Chicago Bulls. 46-36 on the season. You can't deny that their season's been a success regardless. Over 500, a ton of injuries, and in the playoffs. Get to avoid the play-in game. Billy Donovan has to be up there for Coach of the Year. And I won't be shocked if it's Patrick Williams' last season with the team. He barely played this year. And he could be a piece in a trade. Number 15, the Atlanta Hawks. 43-39 on the year. This is ludicrous to say only because of how last year went. But to me, they have to make the conference finals for them to have a successful year. They've had such a disappointing year. They have no business playing in the play-in tournament. They're a much better team than that on paper. And it won't be shocking if it's John Collins' last season with the team. A ton of trade rumors. Couldn't extend him, so I think he's out the door. Number 14, the Los Angeles Clippers, 42-40 on the year. So this is a complicated one because it all depends on whether Kawhi comes back or not. But let's say he's not back. If they win the play-in tournament, it's a success. A team with Paul George as its best player should be at least a playoff team for me. And they're getting some other guys back as well, like Norman Powell. And if Kawhi's back, conference finals. Because Kawhi is a top 10 player and he's healthy. And this is a good team. This probably is going to be the preseason favorite to win the title next year, or at least win the West next year if they're both back. But you know who I won't be shocked isn't back next year? Tyronn Lue. You know why? The job next door is open. And guess who he's buddies with? LeBron James. I think there's a shot he gets the Laker job. Number 13, the Dallas Mavericks. 52-30 on the season. They're this slow because of the uncertainty of Luka Doncic. If Luka was healthy, they would have been in the top maybe 4 or 5 or at worst 6. I won't be shocked if Tim Hardaway Jr. is not back next year. He had a bad year, injured a lot, not worth that contract. If Luka's not back, this is an incomplete, but probably still a failure. Because you can make a case they should have sat him the last day of the regular season, or else this wouldn't have happened. But this was a complete accident, and I think they were trying to get the 3 seed to play the Jazz. Or, I'm sorry, Denver. Who won't be having those 2 players with them. And let's say Luka's back for the first round at some point, conference finals. If they fall short of that, I think it's a failure because of Luka Doncic alone. Number 12, the Brooklyn Nets. 44-38 on the year. To me, they still have to make the finals for their season to be a success. I'm sorry, you got Kevin Durant on your team. You got to make the finals. If they don't make the finals, it's a failure. And I won't be shocked if it's Kyrie Irving's last season with the team. The fact that he's not vaccinated, I think, really didn't make the Nets happy, and they took a lot of PR crap because of it. And Kyrie's going to be a fall guy if they fall short. Number 11, the Toronto Raptors. 48-34 on the season. Their season's a success already, I think. Huge bounce back year for the Raptors. Back to the postseason. In an Eastern Conference that's overall improved. And I won't be shocked if it's Pascal Siakam's last season with the team, only because he's had so many peaks and valleys. And this is about as high as his value can get. And you can't rule anything out with Masai Ujiri. Number 10, the Minnesota Timberwolves. 46-36 on the year. I love how they finished the year. Their season's a success regardless. They had an amazing year. And I won't be shocked if it's D'Angelo Russell's last season with the team, only because, similar to Siakam, a lot of peaks and valleys. And sometimes our analytics don't fall in the favor with some players, and that feels like the case of Russell. So I would not be stunned if they move on. Number 9, the Utah Jazz. 49-33 on the season. To me, they have to go back to the conference finals for their season to be a success. Rudy Gobert would not be stunned if he's on another team. I feel like he's going to be the fall guy. Number 7, the Philadelphia 76ers. 51-31 on the year. Finals or bust. I'm sorry. You acquired James Harden, for crying out loud. You got to make the finals. And won't be shocked if it's James Harden's last season with the team. I'm not even kidding. I know the easy answer would be Doc Rivers, but I wanted a sexy answer here. So I'm going to go with James Harden, only because if they fall short, I could see him crying and bitching about wanting to go somewhere else. Number 6, the Golden State Warriors, 53-29 on the season. To me, they got to go to the conference finals to have a successful year. You could even argue the finals because it's Golden State and Curry and all that. And here's a juicy one for you guys. I would not be shocked if it's Klay Thompson's last season with the team. I love Klay coming off the ACL. Klay will always be one of my favorite players. But he hasn't been peak Klay. And Jordan Poole's breakout year, maybe they trade him because he has higher value than Klay, arguably. But someone's going to overpay for Klay based on name recognition, you would think. 5, the Miami Heat. To me, they have to go to the conference finals for their season to be considered a success. And their record this year, 53-29, 1 seed in the East. And I would not be shocked if it's Jimmy Butler's last season with the team, only because of what went down several weeks ago. And he's been traded by several other teams in the past. Number 4, the Milwaukee Bucks. And the reason why Miami's this slow is because of the Bam COVID situation. Milwaukee, 51-31 on the season. I think they have to go back to the finals for me for their season to be a success. And here's another juicy one. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Chris Middleton's last season with the Bucks. Gotta pick somebody. If they fall short, let's say they lose in the I don't think they'll get upset by the Bulls, but if they lose to the Celtics in the second round, if it's like embarrassing or whatever, and their team's not deep anymore. This is like the Lakers in a way, unfortunately, but they're much, much better. But the way to make your roster more deeper is to trade somebody like Chris Middleton. Like, that's how the Wizards got deeper. They traded Russell Westbrook and got all those assets back. Granted, they didn't make the playoffs. Probably wouldn't have made the playoffs with Russ either. Probably would have been worse with Russ. Number 3, the Boston Celtics, 51-31 on the year, the 2 seed in the East. To me, because of how the second half of their season went, they have to go to the conference finals for me to consider their season a success. And I won't be shocked if it's Marcus Smart's last season with the team, only because I think that he's somebody that had a good second half along with the team. I think it's as high as the value is going to get. I don't know if Brad Stevens will have the Danny Ainge mentality to trade a guy that you think isn't as worth as much as your return, but you never know. Number 2, the Memphis Grizzlies. Their season's a success already. I don't think there's any way in hell they lose in the first round, unless if Kawhi Leonard's back and it's the Clippers. But you have to say their season's a success. John Moran is a franchise player, the best player from his draft class. But I would not be shocked if it's Dillon Brooks' last season with the team. They're going to pay Ja. They're going to play Triple J. And it's a good player on this team. Eventually might have to get traded. I'm going to say that's Dillon Brooks. And number 1, the Phoenix Suns. I mean, come on. They have to be number 1. 64-18 on the year. To me, they have to go back to the finals for myself to consider their season a success. And I would not be shocked if it's DeAndre Ayton's last season with the team. They didn't pay him this summer for a reason, or this fall for a reason. And they paid Mikal Bridges instead, and Chris Paul, and Devin Booker's making a lot of money. So someone is the fall guy if they fall short. And even if they do win it all, I wouldn't be shocked if DeAndre Ayton is playing elsewhere next season. All right, now I'm going to do my awards ballot for the NBA really quickly. That was a long segment. That took 20 minutes. I didn't realize that it was going to be that long. All right, very quick, rapid fire. My MVP is Joel Embiid. He went through a lot this year. The James Harden thing and the Ben Simmons thing kept that team together. Runner-up Nikola Jokic. I just can't pick a 6 seed for the MVP. I'm sorry. Like, if Jokic is the MVP, that's like saying that Russell Westbrook should have been the MVP the year he was the 6th seed. I'm sorry. Like, I really believe that Jokic shouldn't be the MVP if he's a 6th seed. Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's had a sensational year. His defensive leap is a big reason why, along with John Morant's big leap, is why Memphis is a 2 seed. Runner-up Giannis Antetokounmpo, best defensive player in the league, top 3 seed in the East. Sixth Man of the Year, Tyler Herro. He really has done a great job impacting the Heat off the bench. And my runner-up for the Sixth Man of the Year. This is a tough one because there's so many good candidates for this award. So my runner-up for the Sixth Man of the Year award, I'm going to go with Bogdan Bogdanović of the Hawks will be my pick. It was a tough call between him and Luke Kennard, but I'm going to go with Bogdanović. for their second half resurgence and getting themselves into the play-in tournament. So I got to give him credit for that. Most improved, Tyrese Maxey of the Sixers. He's really established himself as a starting player in the league. Runner-up, Mikal Bridges of the Suns. Rookie of the Year, this was tough. I went with Evan Mobley of Cleveland. You got to give the Cavaliers credit. He was a big reason why the Cavs are where they are right now. Runner-up, Cade Cunningham, great second half. Coach of the Year, I'm going to go with Alvin Gentry. You can make a case he was robbed of this award. Not Alvin Gentry, Monty Williams. I had Alvin in my head because he used to coach the Suns, and then he just lost his job at Sacramento. Monty Williams. Great year for Monty. He was robbed of it last year, arguably, with how bad the Knicks were this year. But I think Thibodeau should have won it last year, but Monty deserves it this year. They had a lot of drama, too, the DeAndre Ayton stuff. Booker missed games, Paul missed games, and still ran away with the best record in the league. And the runner-up, Taylor Jenkins of Memphis. Except the year, James Jones of the Suns, dog. I really believe that he deserves this, too. And the runner-up, Arturas Karnasovas of the Bulls, for putting that team together, even though they fell apart in the second half of the year. Now I'm going to talk quickly about Idol from last night. It was a fun episode for sure. We have to talk about Sunday's episode first. The guest mentor was Jimmy Allen. I'm just going to talk about the performances really quickly. Jay performed I Want Your Back by Jackson 5. Ellie performed Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac. Tristan had a good performance to With a Little Help from My Friends by Joe Cocker. Scarlett performed Levitating by Dua Lipa. Sage performed Jolene by Dolly Parton. Danielle performed Your Song by Elton John. Mike performed Best Shot by Jimmy Allen. Emerson performed Angels Like You by Miley Cyrus. Dan performed Heaven by Bryan Adams. Jacob performed In My Blood by Shawn Mendes. Hunter, Banjo by the Rascal Flatts. Nicolina performed Elastic Heart by Sia. And Jimmy Allen, in the middle of the show, performed his new single, Down Home. And then last night's top 24 guest mentor was BB Rexa. Candace performed Something's Got a Hold on Me by Etta James. Sir Blake, Break Even by The Script. Allegra, Adore You by Harry Styles. Kennedy, Heman by Christina Perry. Lady K, Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood. Ava, Tell Me Something Good by Rufus and Shaka Khan. Noah, Blue Side of the Mountain by The Steel Drivers. Leah performed Call Me by Blondie. Cameron, Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Christian, Leave the Door Open by Bruno Mars. Katria performed Bladed on the Boogie by the Jacksons. And Fritz performed Waves by Dean Lewis. All right, news and notes. I'm going to try to be really quick here because we are running out of time. I went overdue on the power rankings. So obviously, Lakers fire Vogel. They're targeting Nick Nurse and Michigan head coach Juwan Howard. Quinn Snyder lost interest because of the handling of Vogel's firing. Has put off Snyder from the job opening, which is wild. It's not a good look for the Lakers. The White Sox are close to acquiring Frankie Montas from the Athletics. We'll see if that gets done. The Kings to begin head coaching search as Alvin Gentry has been informed he will not return. That's unfortunate. The WNBA draft was last night. That was interesting. As I didn't even do a WNBA mock draft, which is something I usually do every year. Ryan Howard went 1. Nalisa Smith went 2. Mystics took Shakira Austin 3rd. Indiana, Emily Engsler 4th. Liberty, Nyara Sabally 5th. Indiana took Lexi Hull 6th. Dallas at 7 took Veronica Burton 8th with Vegas, Maya Hollingshed. 9, Los Angeles Sparks, Ray Burrell. 10 for Indiana, Queen Egbo of Baylor. 11, the Vegas Aces, Christian Bell. And 12, the Connecticut Sun went with Nia Cloud, and that was round 1. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert says that the league is trying to find ways to get Brittany Griner home safely as quickly as they can. They gotta get her home. Gotta. Pittsburgh's Evgeny Malkin to be suspended 4 games for cross-checking Mark Browicki on Sunday. So that's a big loss for Pittsburgh. There's a controversial ending in the Rockies-Rangers game as the slide rule violations result in the double play. Very controversial. Luka Doncic spotted entering a hospital in a walking boot. And then they confirmed there was a calf strain. No timetable return is set yet. CJ Stroud pays homage to former Buckeye Dwayne Haskins with message on his practice jersey, which is very nice. I think you're going to see a lot of Dwayne Haskins in memory stuff over the next several weeks and months and going forward. Such a sad story. Brian Cashman says the Yankees never made offers to Freddie Freeman and Carlos Correa this offseason, which is an absolute joke. And the fact that you couldn't even extend Aaron Judge, that's a different story. Aaron Judge is greedy because he said no to a fair contract, but the reason why you didn't go after big free agents is because you wanted to extend Aaron Judge. That's why the Yankees look bad that Aaron Judge didn't take that contract. It's because of the offseason and less about Judge. And, that's just insane. I mean, Brian Cashman, interesting decisions over the past several years, that's for sure. And non-sports news, Britney Spears and fiance Sam Asghari are expecting their first child together. This caught me by surprise. Britney Spears has some older kids, so I didn't think that she was interested in having more children, but here we are. Apparently, it wasn't planned according to how her Instagram post was worded. But congratulations to Britney and Sam. That's really awesome. All right, best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. This is a tougher one than yesterday. I have some options. This is a tough one, though. There's some in the NBA that I like for the play-in. There's some in hockey I actually like, and there's some in baseball I like. I'm going to go with the hockey best bet. I really like that over in the Flyers-Capitals game. That, to me, is low. 6.5 at plus money is a no-brainer. I'm going to go with the over 6.5 in the Flyers-Capitals game for best bet. Obviously, I hit yesterday with the Blue Jays. We'll see if I hit today with the over in the Flyers-Capitals game. All right, so that's it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from tonight and looking ahead to tomorrow night. We have Masked Singer and Survivor tomorrow, too. We'll talk some Heritage Classic, and I'll give out a pick for that as well. And obviously, best bet, too, in news and notes. So hope you guys have a great day, everyone.